Go home, so we're going to give them a minute to do that. Front and center, you see that for sure. Yeah, I like their faces.
I don't have much, but I would like to give everybody a heads up because it's the people that are here tonight are usually the ones that are most interested in our business. You are going to see our board book look a little different in the future. Typically, all you have to post by law is the notice and the agenda with enough specificity for the public to know what you're going to discuss. We are, in the future, going to release our entire board book, so the public view will have the backup material that is allowable by law. There will be some personnel type things, any negotiations that need to be confidential, settlement agreements, anything like that, that typically would have been excluded because of closed session, but you will be able to open everything else.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is that all? All righty. Okay, so we are going to move on to public comment, and to get to hear by normal little scale here. Registered students, staff, community of GISD, individuals who wish to address the board during public comments portion of the board meeting are required to register online. The form can be found at the GISD website under School Board and Board Meeting tab. If anyone lacks technology necessary to complete the online submission form, they can call the GISD Administration Building or complete the form in person at the Granbury Isd Administration Building. Registration will be open at the time the meeting agenda is posted, typically 5 p.m. on Friday before the meeting, or 72 hours prior to the start of the meeting. Registration will close at noon the day of the meeting. Please understand that in accordance with the Texas law, the board is not able to respond directly to comments or questions posed by the speakers during public comment. Therefore, GISD staff members will review all submissions and, if necessary, reach out to seek resolution or additional information prior to the meeting. Tonight, we have 3 individuals who signed up, and the first one tonight will be David Rogers.
Thank you, Madam President. This evening I want to talk about the HCAD budget, and I also want to talk about the Johnson CAD recommendations for Board of Directors. So I want to say a special thank you to our very honorable GISD trustee Karen Lowry. I also want to say thank you to Nancy Alana for voting against the HCAD budget. Excuse me.
Make it a little easier.
I also want to say that I will say a special thank you to Karen Lowry and to Melanie Graff also for voting for the forensic audit of the HCAD attempt to acquire a new building.
Sir, the HCAD is not on the agenda today. You were going to speak on other things?
I'm sorry, Madam President. My understanding was this was about the budget including HCAD. Is that not correct?
HCAD's not in the budget.
Okay. Can I please speak on the Johnson?
Absolutely, you go right ahead,
Okay,
sir.
I want to encourage our Board of Trustees to vote to recommend the renomination of the incumbents for the Johnson County Appraisal District nominees. Benjamin Potts, or is that Brandon Potts, Jim Cockrell, Dwayne Golden, John Woods, Amy Lingo. If we could please recommend these fine directors for the Johnson Central Appraisal District. Johnson County went to a 3-year appraisal assessment process. I hope that's something we can do here in Hood County. Instead of doing it every year, it's much more cost efficient, much more effective for the taxpayers. That's what I'd like to recommend all our GISD Board trustees do. Okay, thank you, Madam President. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. All right, next. next up will be Monica Brown.
Thank you and good evening. I just want to applaud you for being transparent in the future with what you're going to put online for the community. I would love to special request that you do it sooner because it's coming in to the community electronically very late in the weekend, sometimes even as late as Sunday or Saturday afternoon. And that gives the public until Monday morning to figure out what you're going to talk about and to give input. So it's not really helpful. When I first looked at it this weekend, part of it was online and now there's more. So the whole budget amendment part, the minutes, you can't speak to those because there are no minutes. There's a note that says you're going to approve them tonight, but no one on this side of the aisle can see what it is you're going to approve, and we'd like to see it. We read the meeting, so we'd like to see what you're approving and if there's any corrections that might need to be recommended. The second thing was the budget amendments. There's not a lot to say because most of it wasn't up so we can see it. But I will say for future, I would love to see no new revenue tax rate in South Lake did that. So they did it, and I'm really proud of them for doing that. And Jeremy Glenn's over there. So we know it wasn't him that stopped it. The board did it. And that's what we requested this year. We hope for the future. Okay, on 11A and 11B, I read the improvement plans. I'm still very concerned about the communities and schools, DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion. Anybody can look up their resource guides from all over the nation and see all kinds of things that are not good. And we don't need it. We're independent, Granbury Independent School District. We do not need it. So I'm just going to request that you think through that again. And then I concur with Mr. Rogers on these people for Johnson County because they went to an appraisal process of every 3 years. They're not appraising every year. Wouldn't that be nice? So they're doing it every 3 years, and it's highly recommended that these people be voted in, the same ones he mentioned. I just wanted to say why I'm here. I bleed red, white, and blue, like I think you do also, which means I bleed purple. I bleed green. I care about the kids in South Lake. I live in Granbury, but I live in the county, but I care about the city. Okay? I live in Granbury, but I care about Fort Worth, South Lake, and Bedford. I live in Texas, but I care about Florida, North Carolina, Colorado, Wisconsin, United States. I actually care about the world. Can't do a lot about everything in the world, but people have questioned, well, who are you and what do you have to say? Well, I'm a citizen. I'm breathing. I have children that are going to grow up with your children. You know, if something happened and I had to put my children in the public school, wouldn't it be great if I were welcome? Wouldn't it be great if I could be proud of the programs? And a lot of them I am. It's mostly the staff and the programs that I'm happy about. The behavior of the board the last 3 years, haven't been happy about it. But that's why I'm here, because I bleed red, white, and blue, which includes purple. It includes green. That's South Lake. I care about those people. So that's all I need to say, and I just want to applaud you for transparency. Appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Brown. And our last speaker today is Mr. Jim Brown. And Mr. Brown, I see also on here we said HCAD, but we don't have HCAD on.
Yeah, because my comment with that was not knowing, and so Ms. Dixon, thank you so much, because it is true. I mean, I just want to let you know, I stayed up very late last night, not that it matters for anything, but I really want to make it very clear, I'm going to do all I can over this next year to understand the budget, so that I can speak very intelligently towards that. Because it's important. The numbers are all there, and I feel like it is understandable, and I think I can get myself there. So with the budget, I really would like to encourage the board to continue doing what it can to consider the no new tax rate revenue. There are school districts doing it. Our own county commissioners court did it, and I see in the I looked through all the budgets, I looked through what HCAD put out, looked through all that through, I compared school districts for Weatherford, Mansfield, let me see, what else did I do? I did, Weatherford, Burleson, Mansfield, and then of course Granbury. And so, it's 0.9035, and we're at 0.932. That's a board decision. And so, with that said, I just wanted to explain that the budgets, they need to be more of a needs-based, because I'm seeing that since 2022 to 2023 school year, you're basically at 83 million. Then with the VETRA, you went up to 93 million, and it's like now we're parked at 93 million. And so now we went up to 93.9. So in 2 years, we've literally gone from 82 million to 93.9 million. And so I know a lot of that's involved with with teachers, but the teachers literally have gone from 46 million to, from 46 million in 2022 to 56 million in 2024 budget. They continue to keep going up by literally as much as 2.1 million this year coming up, and then they went up, of course, 7 million, for the VETRA. I got that. But with HCAD, I wish I could speak into that, because there's a meeting coming up. They are going to be talking about possible monies that could come back to the taxing entities. And as a board, and as a citizen, as a board, you have 3 controlling the HCAD. I just would like you to put some comments into them that I'd like a forensic audit, and I'd like to see where that money's going. So I'll stop. But I guess it's really it. Thank you so much. I've got 27 seconds. But Ms. Dixon, thank you, and thank you, board. I would guess you're involved in that. The more information that we can get on, it'd be awesome on Friday night. Right now it just has one little page. I have no idea what amendments you're looking at for the budget. I had no idea. I couldn't study. So I'd like to be more knowledgeable when I come to speak. Thank you.
Thank you. Speaking of what Dr. Dixon presented in her superintendent report, we honestly, as a board, thought that the links that you guys would go to pulled up the data. We didn't realize it only pulled up the cover page, because we don't look at that. We don't look at it from the standpoint that you did. Once we saw that today, after reading the comments that you all had put online, and we actually went into it and realized you were only getting the cover page. Apologize that you didn't get it before. You will now get it in the future. That was actually just a misunderstanding on our part with what we thought you were getting. So, again, good comment. Glad that we were able to fix that for y'all. Okay, moving on. Going to consent agenda items. Are there? Oh, that's right. We got the closed session. Consider action items on action on items discussed in closed session. Dr. Dixon?
Yes, you had a review sheet of what we were asking for. Primarily, it was adjustments to the compensation manual. Some saving money, some spending money. But we need to make those adjustments in order to adjust payroll. Okay?
Do I have a motion?
So moved, Madam President.
Thank you, Ms. Gore. Do I have a second? Second. Thank you, Mr. Wonderly. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Thank you. No. Motion passes unanimously. Now moving on to consent agenda items. Are there any items that the board would like to pull?
Madam President, I'd like to pull consent agenda item 10B, budget amendments.
10D. Okay. Are there any others that need to be pulled? Okay. Go ahead, Ms. Gore.
Thank you, Madam President. I just want to recognize the donations made by our community. We had donations made to Emma Robertson Early Learning Center from the Plantation Women's Club in the amount of $851. We had donations from the Zoo Crew for the Campus Activity Fund to Bronner Elementary in the amount of $1,645. We had donations made to GMS Campus Activity Fund from Billy Martin and Martin's Office Supply for a total of $750. The AMS Student Activity Fund received a donation from the Optimist Club in the amount of $1,000. And there were various student programs at the high school that received donations from the Sons of American Legion, Optimist Club, Beyond Landscaping, EMJAA Construction, Eric and Carol Lovell, Maker Material Supply, Cutting Edge Haunted House, Shulman's Movie Bowl and Grill, for a total amount to the high school of $18,009.82, for a grand total of contributions and donations from our community in the amount of $22,255.82.
All right, so do I have a motion for accepting the consent agenda?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Wimberly. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. All those in favor, please raise your hand. All those opposed, it was unanimous for. Thank you very much, Board. Moving on to the discussion action items. The first is for 10 Clark, 2024-2025 District Improvement.
Okay, so now, last month I was here with campus improvement plans, and this month I'm here with the district improvement plan. And so I'm going to give you an overview, the 30,000-foot view, and then you can ask me any questions that you have. So just like the campus improvement plans and the campus needs assessment, it's an exercise in continuous improvement. We get our student data, but this time it's at the district level. The campuses did theirs by their campus. We're looking at district data, our enrollment data, demographic data, student achievement data, all of the district-wide data that we have, so that we know as a central admin what moves are being made and what we need to be putting our focus to. So on human capital data, we have principal check-ins with me, surveys that we've sent out, exit interviews through HR department, and then our retention data and what campuses are losing more or having more that are going to be enjoying retirement and things like that. We look at our human capital projections. So basically all of the data that rolls into the 4 big areas that we came up with in our strategic plan, we're looking at those, that data so that we can push our goals forward. So again, we're going to see those same 4 goals that we had in our campus improvement plans, because that's what came out of our strategic planning a year and a little bit ago, right? So the first goal is academic achievement. Then we are having the people who are pouring into what moves we need to make at the district level from academic achievement. So curriculum and instruction department, SPED department, and then CCMR would be pretty much through our high school quite a bit, but also Todd Gibson when he's looking at things from our CTE department. So in curriculum instruction, we're going to be looking at some new adoptions that will be coming up. Open educational resources, probably in math, since math is a focus area for us, as it is for most of the people across the state. We're looking at our high quality instruction, instructional-based strategies, research-based strategies. That's what that RBIS. I know that Billy likes to ask me about all of my acronyms. So RBIS is research-based instructional strategies. So I didn't put it on there, so I brought it to you. We're looking at our intervention implementation support and monitoring, and how we're monitoring from the district level and pushing that down to each of the different campuses. And then our focus, our focal points, still on benchmark phonics at the lower levels. Our writing samples, short constructed responses used to be our short answers, and extended constructed responses used to be essays, right? So those are still a focus. And then math, because the numbers in math have gone down statewide and also in our district. And then support through instructional coaching from district admin to campus admin, all the way to the teachers. If I go into what SPED department, special education department, is doing, We are trying from the district office, from the district support level, to help our campuses maximize exposure for all students to Tier 1 grade level instruction, meaning do less resource time and more in-classroom support for as many students as possible, and get them to that least restrictive environment. Goalbook is a technology, is a software that we use that helps us monitor IEPs, so implementation of that new software. And then inclusive programming, we've had that for quite some time. It just continues to grow. CAST, the robotics, and our Wednesday afternoons at the YMCA with our students and our partner PE. For CCMR, we've made some shifts to try to maximize our CCMR points by, at the high school level, giving TSIA to all sophomores. That's the Texas Success Initiative assessment, so it's kind of like an SAT or an ACT, but it's the Texas one. And targeted seniors, so we have some seniors that have passed one portion but not the other, so for them to get their CCMR point, we're trying to incentivize them to take that and be college ready. We're also strengthening our community partnerships. If you read the one pager, you can see that that's more for industry-based internships. And so continuing those partnerships, and then improving our processes for tracking, monitoring, and supporting all of the CCMR, every kid to see that they're meeting the CCMR standards. For goal 2, this is our HR goal, our highly effective, well-supported, and valued staff. We started this campus year with 25 Tarleton teacher residents, which is amazing. We are the district that is piloting the middle schools having teacher residents. There aren't anywhere else. Everyone has been doing elementary school residents, and we got the first secondary residents. So we're excited to see what that gives, and hopefully we'll keep them and put them into our pipeline. We have our curriculum and instruction department is working really, really hard for TIA, Texas Teacher Incentive Allotment, trying to make sure that we can create and submit our application. They've been working on TIA Tuesdays, and a whole bunch of teachers and faculty and staff have been working together to put that application together, which is how it's supposed to be designed. So a lot of work going into that, and hopefully we'll have a great application done by April. In-district professional development, so we look at where our data is lagging, and then our curriculum and instruction department comes up with our professional development. We have monthly calendars for after-school professional development hours, and we also have a lot of offerings in the summer, but right now the October calendar is out. We're trying to increase our principal and assistant principal PLCs so that they can get together more often and share ideas, share all of their good ideas, and helping everybody get better. We have extended day opportunities with staff for young children. The YMCA has partnered with our extended day personnel and to offer some work day coverage for our staff, which is sometimes an issue, right? When we have work days, but we don't have Little Bucks or Emma open on those days. And then another training thing that is new, and I think that Mr. Clark has talked about this, but we hosted TCOL training for the first time, a recertification here in Granbury. It's the first time that TCOL hasn't had it at one of their state sites, but they had it here. It saved us a lot of money, and all of our TCOL marshals are getting trained, well, recertified in Granbury, Texas, and we're going to continue to do that. For goal 3, we have our community connections and our staff and family connections. The big one here is CKH. I think that you've heard and seen, and if you're on Facebook, you're definitely seeing a lot of Capturing Kids' Hearts posts on what we're doing to try to connect with our kids and our families, and it's been really fun to watch. We're still trying to refine and improve our character education to address bullying. Bullying is an issue and probably will be while we have, cell phones for children. And so definitely trying to improve how to address those things. We are trying to evaluate and recognize all of our parent and family engagement. We're continuing to work on that and improve our community connections district-wide. And then the last one is just our handbooks for district interventions and MTSS are going to be updated. And goal 4, it was a facilities goal and a well-maintained and secure facilities goal. So our safety goes in there, but it starts with the redistribution of half of our bilingual program that really balanced our elementaries and maximized. We are full on all of our elementaries now. It helped us with Bronner, Bronner that was at over 900 students last year. When we pulled off half of the bilingual to go to Bacchus, that filled up every single elementary school to the max. So that's where we're at. That's the best use of our facilities that we can do. And so now we've engaged with the demographer for the updated study. We should have that out around January, it's my understanding. As far as safety is concerned, the cybersecurity annex and the EOP was the focus area for Texas. So we got that done. And we continue to do all of the cyber trainings that Brent sends us. And then for safety, we have some safety grants that are in the works, and a lot of those updates that are on there are what we're putting into play or have already put into play with our safety grants that we've acquired. So that is the 24-25 touch on, or big picture view of our district improvement plan. Do you have any questions?
No questions, just a comment. Thank you for putting all this together for us. I saw with the teacher incentive allotment, y'all are gonna have a lot of internal processes in place to make that a hub for people who are gonna be utilizing the teacher incentive allotment. And so I appreciate all the hard work y'all are doing and putting into this and making sure that we're hitting those goals on our strategic plan. Thank you.
You're so welcome. This is truly a work by most of the directors in the room, have all put their goals and how they can push forward the goals from the community, from the strategic plan, and put them in place.
And we will end up getting updates quarterly on how they are doing.
Yes.
So this is just the start of the program for this year.
Absolutely.
So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Any other comments? Thanks so much.
Yeah.
Madam President,
Yes,
I
sir.
move that the board approve the district improvement plan as presented.
Thank you, Mr. Wimberly. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Ms. Alana. All those in favor, please raise your hand. And that is unanimous. Moving on, consider approval of a resolution nominating candidates for the Appraisal District Board of Johnson County and Parker County. So what we have received is we can consider nominating them. They're not, the election will be held in December. So we can, let's see. We're going to prepare ballots. Yes, they need to, submit names by October 15th. For, Johnson County, there are a total of 5,000 votes. Granbury ISD has 14. So our votes aren't gonna make much, but if someone would like to make a recommendation of someone for us to nominate with that 14 votes, I'm happy to take
ma'am, I have the 5 names that we would like to nominate for Johnson County.
How many do they allow us to have?
Thought it was 5, if it's only 3, we'll put 3 in.
Let me see. 5. The board consists of 9 members, 5 nominated and voted by the taxing entities, 3 members elected by popular vote, and the elected tax. So looks to be 5. I think it's 3 that we get, so.
It says up to 5. Please submit the names of any nominees up to 5 persons. We get 14 votes. You can allocate the 14 votes however you choose between the 5 nominees.
Okay. So, how do you want to do this?
And this part of it, we're going to do 5.
Yeah, you can do 5.
You can do 5, but we have 14 votes. You're gonna have to tell me how to split up the 14 votes among the 5.
Okay. That shouldn't be too difficult. All right. So, do you need the names of people?
Yes.
Helpful. Dwayne Goulding. D-U-A-I-N-E. G-O-U-L-D-I-N-G.
G-U-O-L-D-I-N-G. Okay.
Amy, L-I-N-G-O.
L-I-N-G-O.
John R. Wood. Brandon, B-R-A-N-N-O-N, Potts, P-O-T-T-S. And James M. C-O-C-K-R-E-L-L.
C-K-R-E-L. Okay, so that's 5 names. How are you gonna divide up 14 points?
So for the first 3 that we named, let's just do 3. For those, I'm sorry, for the first 4.
So 3, 3, 3.
3, and then the last one we'll do 2.
Does anyone else have anyone else that they would have wanted to put on? All right, that's fine. We'll make sure that gets sent in. Do you have, well, let's get Johnson County too.
Parker.
Oh, that was Johnson, okay. Harper County, we have, let's see, 5 directors were appointed.
Just 2 seconds.
Oh, okay.
There's 5 seats per term, beginning January 1.
For Parker?
Yes.
Okay, so let's go back to Johnson County for just a moment. There is a resolution that was on page 112. So I need a motion, a resolution by Granbury Isd affirming nominations of the candidates for this. So I need a motion to approve this resolution for those 5 members that we just put out.
Yes, ma'am, I'd like to, lost my brain fog. Make a motion for this resolution by GISD affirming the nominations for candidates for the Board of Directors for the Central Appraisal District of Johnson County, Texas.
Good. I have a motion, can I have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you. All those in favor, please raise your hand.
Discussion.
Oh, discussion.
I don't know these people. Can you give me some information about them, please?
We have resumes. Would you like us to read some parts of their resumes?
Yeah, I'd like to know. I'd like to know about who they are. I don't know the names, so before I vote, I'd like some information on them.
Mr. Goulding is a native of Johnson County, a graduate of Cleveland High School, and currently resides in Johnson County with his wife. He earned an MBA as well as a BS in mathematics and computer science and pursued a career in the IT industry. His specialties include strategic planning, operational efficiency, process improvement, contract negotiations, client relations, employee relations, sales, and marketing. It's just a little bit of Amy Lingo. Her specialties include policy and regulatory compliance, including compliance appraisal review, governance, finance, consumer, commercial real estate finance, budgeting and strategic planning, risk management, business process improvement, employee and client relations, integrity, reputation, and accountability. Mr. Wood has over his education and his professional development is a Doctor of Philosophy and Business Administration, Bachelor of Science, Electronic Engineering Technology, AMA Sales Management Training, Photography, Management Training, Licensed Training School Director and Continuing Education Instructor, and completed the Champions Real Estate Training in Austin. And Mr. Potts grew up in Cleburne, third generation resident of Johnson County. His wife's a fourth generation local. He began his banking career at First Financial Bank in Cleburne, working as a financial analyst and later as a vice president of commercial lending, and then moving to community bank in a similar role. He's handled business, real estate loans, new residential developments, and analyzed appraisals, which deepened his understanding of property values in the area. He served as vice chairman of Planning and Zoning Commission in Cleburne. He was recruited to be the CEO of his family business, where he worked alongside his father and 50 employees. Played a key role in facilitating the company's sale in 2010. He's founded a property management company in 2016 and currently own and manage several rental properties in Johnson, Hood, and throughout the DFW district. And the last one would be James Cockrell. He was born and raised in Abilene. Let's see, he has been from McMurray College in '74 with a BS in speech and English and teaching certificate in secondary education in '89. He obtained his MED in education administration with mid-management and superintendent certifications from the University of North Texas in Denton. In addition to his 30-year career in public education as a teacher, building administrator, and central officer, he's worked for private sector for 7 years as a journalist and broadcaster. His wife of 51 years are both retired from public education in 2011 and July 2019.
Thank you for that information, I appreciate it.
Any other questions or discussion? All right, all those in favor, please raise your hand. And that is unanimous. Thank you very much. Okay, now, moving on to Harper County. There are 5 open spots. We may nominate 1 candidate for each position. In Harper County, we have 20 votes, and they do not totally finish up. Let's see, 2,000. But we have 20 votes out of it, looks like, just looking at these numbers, about 4,000. So, but bottom line is we have 20 votes. Do we have any names for Harper County President?
I noticed at the bottom, it has the names of the ones who have a term that is expiring. Cody Lane, Jerry Durant, John Hinton, Richard Barrett, and Sterling Narron. The only name I'm familiar with is former Granbury resident, Jerry Durant. I certainly would nominate him. I don't know, does anyone know any of the others?
No, I don't, but do we have any resumes on these 5 that are on the bottom?
Not that I
Any
know.
additional information? No.
fine with allocating our votes for the members with expiring terms, since they've already been on the board? And they're done, are these people up for re-election? We can allocate our votes for them, or they're completely just done? Or,
We have no idea.
okay.
Madam President, I move that we divide the 20 votes evenly between the candidates listed on this sheet. Cody Lane, Jerry Durant, John Hinton, Richard Barrett, and Starling Naren.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Before we vote, I just wanted to say I'm gonna be a no on this, only because I don't have enough information. I don't know exactly who I'm voting for.
I understand. Any other discussion? Okay, they also have it as a resolution nominating the candidates for the Parker County Appraisal District. Be it remembered that at an open meeting of Granbury ISD, a public subdivision of state of Texas held on, it will be for today, said meeting, the duly called in accordance with the laws, governing body, and that this is a quorum, that we're saying that these are gonna be our nominations. So, we'll go ahead, and that is what we're voting on, is that particular resolution. We have a motion by Ms. Alana and seconded by Ms. Gore. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Those opposed? So we have 5-4, 2 against, and the 2 against are Ms. Lowry and Ms. Graf. The motion passes. It will be split evenly among the 5 candidates listed.
I have a question, if I might ask.
Of course.
Okay, and just a suggestion, would it be possible in the future to have them submit resumes so that at least we can look at those and make more of an educated vote? Just a thought.
I think that's a very good idea. Okay, moving on. Back over here, my other sheet here. Okay, consider resolution stating review of investment policy. Mr. Whitefield.
Thank you, Madam President. Board in front of you, you do have a copy of CDA Legal and CDA Local. You also have a listing of qualified brokers and a resolution to adopt at the end with mentioning those things. According to the Public Funds Investment Act, Texas Government Code Chapter 2256, Subchapter A, and Granbury ISD's legal policy, the investment policy and the investment strategy shall be reviewed not less than annually. You do have those attached. And then, in addition, CDA Legal states the board shall adopt a written instrument stating that it has reviewed the investment policy and investment strategies, and that the written instrument so adopted shall report any changes made to either the investment policy or the investment strategies, and that would be the resolution that it's at the end. Also, CDA Legal also says the board shall annually review, revise, and adopt a list of qualified brokers, and you have that, and I believe that is Exhibit B. CDA Local also states that the superintendent or another person designated by the board shall serve as the investment officer, and that is also in the resolution. And lastly, the government code requires that the board approve the independent sources for investment training, and those investment training sources are also in that resolution. It is recommended that the board adopt the attached resolution stating the board has reviewed the investment policy and strategies, the adopted list of qualified brokers has designated the investment officers, and has approved the independent sources of investment training as required by the investment policy and Texas Government Code.
I'm going to read the resolution stating review of investment policy and investment strategies, designation of investment officers, approving independent sources of investment training, and approving a list of qualified brokers authorized to engage in investment transactions with the district. Whereas Granbury ISD has been legally created, operated pursuant to the general laws of the state of Texas applicable to independent school districts. And whereas the Board of Trustees at Granbury ISD has adopted investment policy CDA local for the district in the form attached hereto as Exhibit A pursuant to Chapter 2256 of the Texas Government Code as amended from time to time, and whereas Section 2256.005E Texas Government Code as amended requires the governing body of an investment entity review its investment policy and investment strategies not less than annually, and whereas Section 2256.025 Texas Government Code requires the governing bodies of the entity shall at least annually review, revise, and adopt a list of qualified brokers that are authorized to engage in the investment transaction of the entity. Whereas the investment policy, CDA local, states the superintendent or other persons as designated by the board resolution shall serve as the investment officers of the district. And whereas the Texas Association of School Boards, all regional education service centers, the Texas Association of School Business Officials, the Texas Local Government Investment Pools, the Texas Society of CPAs, the UNT Center of Public Management, the Texas Municipal League, Texas State University, Virtual Learning Concepts, and various TASBO affiliates are independent sources that provide investment training sessions relating to investment responsibilities. And as such, the Board of Trustees of Granbury ISD wishes to approve these independent sources of instruction as required by the Texas Government Code Section 2256.008A. Now therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Trustees of Granbury Independent School District that the investment policy in the form attached hereto, Exhibit A, and the investment strategies contained in such policies have been reviewed and hereby adopted with no change. And that the superintendent, chief financial officer, and the business manager serve as the district's investment officers to be responsible for the investment of its funds consistent with investment policy. And that the Texas Association of School Boards or regional education and service centers, the Texas Association of School Business Officials, Texas Local Government Investment Pools, the Texas Society of CPAs, the UNT Center of Public Management, the Texas Municipal League, the Texas State University, Virtual Learning Concepts, and various TASBO affiliates are approved as independent sources of instruction relating to the investment responsibilities for the investment officer of the district, as required by Section 2256.008A, Texas Government Code as amended. And that the list of qualified brokers attached to Exhibit B have been reviewed by the board and are authorized to engage in investment transactions with the district. Do I have a motion to accept this resolution?
Madam President, I move that we accept the resolution.
Do I have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Thank you, Ms. Gore. Thank you, Ms. Alana. Are there any discussion?
I just have a couple questions. How many of the brokers or the dealers do we use? All of them?
Currently, we're only using the pools, but those investment brokers that are on there were submitted by TD America and by TCG, which is at the bottom of the page, the Eric Light. We kept them on there just in case we went back to Ameritrade or those funds. They're long-term investments. We don't use those because they're not very liquid. However, we left them on there just in case we do decide to go back that way.
Okay, and do we use the services of a contractor of the district to aid in the investment officers?
We do not contract with anybody, except for BOK, and that's usually with our bonds and stuff.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Any other questions, comments? All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please raise your hand. And that is unanimous. Thank you, board. We are moving on now to reports. Annual continuing education report for the Board of Trustees. I actually have something in particular I have to read. As board president, I am required to announce the name of each member who has completed the required continued education, who has exceeded the required continued education, or who is deficient in meeting the required continuing education. The following trustees met requirements in the required annual training, and all trustees exceeded requirements in the additional continued education. The trustees, Nancy Alana, met all requirements and exceeded additional continued education. Courtney Gore met all requirements and exceeded additional continued education. Melanie Graft met all requirements and exceeded additional continued education. Karen Lowry met all requirements and exceeded additional continued education. Mike Moore met all requirements and exceeded additional continued education. Barbara Townsend met all requirements and exceeded additional continued education. Billy Wimberly met all requirements and exceeded additional continued education. So we all did our job. Moving on, Mr. Whitefield, financial statements for period ending September 30.
Thank you, Madam President. Board, in front of you do have the financial statements for the month of September, being the first month of our year. The statement includes only those transactions that occurred between September 1st of that month and September 30th of 2024. Revenue collected to date equals 4.8% of the budgeted amount compared to 4.87% in 23 and 24. Expenditures to date represent 12.99% of the budget compared to 12.85% in 23 and 24. And we'll answer any questions on the financials if you have any.
So this kind of goes back to what we've talked about in non-agenda item before, where here our expenditures are exceeding what we're taking in just because of the time of year. And this is why we end up needing the fund balance that we have.
Yes, ma'am, that is correct. We won't start collecting tax dollars until the month of December.
So we're going to continue spending, and this is why we need what we have in our fund balance. All right, we'll go ahead and finish this up with the cash flow and investment report.
Thank you, Madam President. Board, in front of you do have the investment statement for the month of September. You can see that in the month of September we raised $154,540 in interest revenue. Most of that was generated through our pool investments under Lone Star. Last year's investment income at this time was $134,800, just shy of $20,000 difference this year as compared to last year.
Thank you, sir. Well, before we close, tonight is Ms. Melanie Graff's last meeting as a Granbury ISD trustee. She's been with us for 3 years, and I want to thank you for your service, and I'm sure we will see you around. And with that, it is...
Thank you for persevering.
It is now 7:11, and we are adjourned.